you doing here?
I'm commissioned to this flight.
Captain!
We haven't got time for this right now. Put her in the Sperry until we get up in the air.
I'm supposed to guard this.
I'll guard it for you.
Contents are confidential.
What's your name, honey?
Flight Officer Garrett.
Ain't no women in the Air Corps.
I'm a flight mechanic and a pilot.
You're not a pilot. You're a delivery girl.
Sir, requesting permission to fire on an enemy attacker.
You wouldn't even know how to fire a gun.
I was being polite.
She hit it! She was right! Who the hell are you, Miss Garrett?
What is she here for?
Did you hear that?
What the hell is that racket? There's something on top of the plane. Something on the goddamn tires. Here they come.
Get down!
These irregularities started with that package.
You have no idea how far I'll go!
How did you get up here?
Welcome back to the party, baby!
Strap in.
Yes, ma'am.
Welcome, everybody, to the periodic table of awesome.
Hey!
How are we all?
Ah. Hello.
Good. We're flying.
We're flying. We're kicking gremlin dick.
We're soaring.
We're soaring.
Yeah, there's not a thing on heaven that we can't do.
We're
I
soaring.
can't remember the lyric. Sorry, Peter. I just looked down and I saw Peter's face going. They are not the lyrics.
We're soaring. We're warring. We're flying. We're dying.
Soren and Warren. Yeah, cool.
Are we breaking free though? That's the question.
Sure.
Hmm.
Anyway,
Yeah.
who are you? Who's everyone? Who are you people?
Anyway, hello. I am Jill.
Yay! I am
who
Quinny.
is-
I'm just going to start. I'm going to say I am Quinny.
Yeah, great. I'm Dion.
Yep.
Hello.
I'm Peter.
Hey!
How you going?
Good.
Okay. Cool.
I like the way that Peter's face is like, "Yep, I'm here."
Peter, what's wrong?
Totally fine.
Tell me what's going on.
Only fine.
What's going on, Pete? Come on.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
Do you want
I'm
to talk
right
about it, Pete?
here.
How's things?
I'm right here. Is
No,
it okay?
If everything is fine, we're in a little bit of an upheaval in my land, okay, at the moment, but we will be unupheaved shortly,
Excellent.
and things will be better.
Excellent. I wish you all the best in your move. Spoilers.
Oh.
It's happening.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Not to give anything away or anything, but
Peter's moving to
Yes.
to New Zealand to film Shadow in the Cloud 2. No. She's the new
That's
gremlin.
a job I would take.
Yeah. I was going to say.
I
think we all
love
would.
this one. How's everyone in the chat? Hello, chat.
Hello, chat.
Yes, welcome everyone in the chat. It's nice to see a lot of people in there.
You're very
Yeah.
excited and having a lovely time.
Now I want to do
I think
chat hop. Does anyone know about chap hop? The rap that's for chaps. So like as in British chaps. And
Oh, chap hop.
chap hop. But I want
have
chat
you have you guys ever seen Chap Hop? Have you seen like the
What?
the
It's a real thing.
it's a
yeah,
real
yeah.
thing.
Oh yeah. Chap hop is like hip hop but for chaps.
Yes, and lots of people with natty ties and
Yes.
moustaches
So,
going.
almost like a barbershop quartet, but hip hop.
Kind of, but it's a little
Sounds
bit.
like hipster hip hop to me.
Yes, it
It's
absolutely
got a
is.
bit of that,
400% it is. Victorian
Yeah.
era, they do a lot of hip hop about pipes and vests and natty slacks.
There's one who's quite well known called, just finding a link for it, Professor Elemental, and he talks about his fighting trousers.
Yeah. Cha-cha-cha.
Yes.
Anyway.
Why the fuck are we talking about this?
I did it. It was me.
Okay, right, good. I put a
I
link
think
in
we're
the chat. There
actually
you
here
go.
to talk about the
Shadow.
movie Shadow in the Cloud.
Hooray! Which, if you're
Not
in
Clouds,
America,
as
you
I
can
kept thinking it was called.
get
Yeah.
it through Amazon Prime. But if you're in Australia, you've got to go to a movie theater.
Yes, this is a film that actually opened in a cinema. My God. And I believe is actually still doing cinema business, if memory serves.
Probably.
Like, I think
Oh,
you
okay.
could probably still see it in a cinema somewhere because it's like, they're fairly desperate for content.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in a place with no cases,
Yeah,
risk
I
it.
mean,
Go
isn't that
ahead.
where we all saw it?
Nope.
Totally.
I don't pay for Amazon Prime to give it away to some pesky person. Anyway,
Yes.
you'll make your own decisions. I got a VPN.
So this is a movie that I don't think many people had heard much about leading up to it, other than like a trailer appeared and not long afterwards a movie appeared and we all went, huh.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those weird ones that I
Yeah,
kind of...
I don't really recall
bypassed.
seeing the trailer either.
Yeah. And because it's kind of been... Look, it's been a bit of a lean start to 2021. Let's be honest. After the... we've done a few TV shows. We just wanted a nice, fun movie. And this one was available.
Yes.
Look,
Accurate.
from the partial bit of the trailer that I remember seeing vaguely on TV maybe once, I thought, oh, hey, I want to see that.
Yeah.
And, and then
now I
proceeded to
have.
not. Okay. Good.
Sure.
So it's from the writer Max Landis, who hasn't necessarily had. Well, he's had some good things and some not great things.
Yeah. Let's just say it was only due to the Writers Guild of America rules that Max Landis' name is still attached to the production or the script.
Oh, really?
Yes. He was
Okay.
He was asked to leave.
On this particular film, was it?
Yes.
Right.
And there were
So-
significant
Us.
rewrites, but because he had something to do with it at the start, that they couldn't say that he didn't.
Right.
Anyway, you
Okay.
can look up that case. It's fascinatingly awful.
So Max Landis, people will probably remember from Chronicle. He was the writer of that one, and became very well. Everyone was like, "Oh, he's the guy. He's going to be the next big thing." And then,
But also, son of John Landis,
yeah,
who you may remember from Werewolf in London, Blues Brothers, all that kind of stuff.
yes. But then again, everyone involved with Chronicle have kind of not necessarily looked after themselves particularly well. So you remember that film? It was the sort of found footage superhero sort of story.
Did it have a witch in it? Because that's the last found footage film that I watched.
No, it was a couple of guys find a meteorite and they touch it and somehow start developing superpowers. And it's all done through mobile phones and stuff like that. And it ends a big battle of elements of Akira and stuff like that. And it sounds really great. And everyone was like, holy shit, these guys are amazing. So the director was Josh Trank, and the writer was Max
God.
Landis. Exactly. So
Yeah, that sounds like a disaster.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
That's the thing. This is the thing where you get told that you're amazing, and then you believe it.
And then you go on and make Fantastic Four.
Exactly.
You're fantastic, Quinny.
Oh dear.
So yeah, and it's interesting to see where they've both gone, and it's also interesting to see that Max Landis didn't necessarily look after himself that well either.
Yes. What is Shadow in the Cloud about? though,
Okay,
Quinny?
well, Shadow in the Cloud. Should I do this old-timey newsreader?
Do it like a World War
Or should
II.
I just read the fucking words like they're written?
Yeah.
There's a crazy concept. Let's not do it as funny voice. Let's just read the words
People
as they're
tune in,
written.
though.
Don't you want to hear
I
me?
know. Okay, I'm just going to wait for the chat. What should I do? Should I
wanna
do it
hear me-
as?
Don't you want to hear me beatbox behind you, Quinny?
Sorry. Yes,
Yeah,
if you
doing
could.
chap hop.
Wow.
That's a quality content. I'm sorry, Peter is just sitting here going, "Fuck's sake, people!" It's just
She's
really...
very patient.
No, look,
She's
I'm
just
all for
waiting for her
old-timey
moment.
news, Frida. Let's do it.
Okay.
Rob just said, "Funny voice."
I like it that now Amy's saying, please beatbox, it'll be terrible. Everybody else wants World War II announcer. So, Dion, if you'd like to beatbox, and I will go World War II announcer chap hop style.
I'm a
Oh,
terrible...
God.
In the throes of World War II, Captain Maud Garrett joins the all-male crew of a B-17 bomber with the top secret package. Caught off guard by the presence of a woman on a military flight, the crew tests Maud's every move. Just as her quick wit is winning them over, strange happenings and her holes in her backstory incite paranoia surrounding her true mission. But this crew has more to fear. Lurking in the shadows, something sinister is tearing at the heart of the plane. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that was.
Did anyone actually get what this film is about?
I was so distracted.
I'm so sorry. I'm going. I'm done.
And that was our review of Shadow in the Cloud. We liked it that much. Thanks, Rob. Yes, Lin-Manuel Miranda will be in contact later tonight. Thank you, Rob.
Yes.
just so
I believe
send
I'm
him
in
our
the
way.
sequel, In the Lows.
Oh dear. Jeez.
So to
to actually in the throat. Yes, you go, Peter.
To
You do
summarize,
it.
it's a film set in World War II with sexism and gremlins.
Yes. Yeah, there you go.
What a way to put it.
Which crazily in this one aren't the same thing.
No.
It's aliens set in World War II.
Yeah.
Because there's a bunch of men that don't listen to a woman who's been right the whole time.
Okay.
Actually,
Boom.
Boom. Yeah.
I would drop my
Yeah.
mic, but it's attached
Now,
to a
do
thing.
you see why I'm the only person here that fucking loved this movie?
I wouldn't say that. Okay. Are we putting our cards on the table that quickly? Because
Sure.
How did you
I
feel
can't
about
tell
it?
you why I don't agree until we get to spoilers.
Right.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay.
Except that, can I just say one thing, like up front, just flat out? I hated the music. Hated with a fiery passion.
It's,
The music
Okay.
that we just did,
I
because I don't
will-
blame you. That was fucking terrible.
yeah, that
So that was better.
Oh,
I mean,
Wow.
I will make the opposite argument
the beatboxing's great.
because I have a feeling that it was more warranted than maybe you're giving it credit for.
okay. Okay.
Who wants to go first?
Oh, okay. I'm intrigued because I mean, what? Okay, why? Yes, the Casper asks, why hating the music? Tell us about the music.
I don't know. I just found it irritating and distracting and
Okay.
repetitive, and it didn't help me get on board with the story. It kept throwing me out of the story of like, fuck, what's that music? Which with this kind of story, it kind of doesn't help you. There's a large amount of suspension of disbelief required to watch this film. And
It does help.
then your experience is being interrupted by, I am noticing this music, which is generally not what film music is supposed to do. Yeah, that was my experience of the music of this film. Just constantly, I'm noticing the music now. Fuck, that music made the watch a bit hard.
Listen to me, I'm music now. Right.
You're not
Okay.
supposed to notice the music
No.
to that degree. If you're noticing the movie to that degree and it's not like a specific device, which generally isn't employed over an entire movie, I feel like you're doing it wrong, but that might be just me.
I'm just looking to see in terms of who wrote the music and everything. And I mean, we got some Kate Bush in there, but
We
I
sure
can't
did.
find who's the actual composer of it. I thought it was interesting listening to the trailer. Like the trailer has a real kind of grungy John Carpenter vibe.
Yeah,
And
it's kind of bog standard though, like action movie trailer mashup. You know, thudding music, good visuals. Everything's like kind of comic-y lit. Like everything's always at that right kind of golden hour lighting scheme that it's running through. It's all, or there's neon and there's just bits and pieces where you're kind of like, oh, this looks like it's fun. And when it said from the creative producer behind Atomic Blonde, I'm like, okay, so now I understand where the neon is from.
yeah,
Great, but I'm not very much convinced that that's a World War II plane shebang. Anyway,
I didn't have as much fun with the lighting, but you go, Jill.
Here's my point on the music and the lighting. So when the movie starts, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, there's like this World War II thing going on, but the music is so juxtaposed to everything else, and it sounds so like synth and 80s that I was like, hang on, this is giving me like huge Twilight Zone pulp sci-fi high fantasy vibes. So that took me completely out of like the period setting and into this is like some weird Lovecraftian tale, and that is what set me up to enjoy the whole movie, was not warring with myself thinking, oh, it's supposed to be a period piece with monsters. Like it just completely flipped it on its head. I'm like, nope, it's high fantasy sci-fi.
Okay, no, that's good. Like that's kind of
cool.
my
argument.
No, that's completely fine. I'm just looking at so the composer is and I'm going to cock this one up. Sorry, Mahuya Bridgman Cooper. I think it's Mahuya, and they've done soundtracks for Mahana. What's that one? That's Houseboat something. Housebound, and a few other things. Looks like a New Zealandish composer.
New Zealandish, like kind of New Zealand, or
a New Zealander composer. I don't. What's the tech? I don't know.
Part of the ANZUS Treaty, Quinny.
A Kiwi.
A Kiwi. Okay, perfect.
Let's go with that then. So interesting kind of because this is obviously a Kiwi co-production, or actually entirely produced in New Zealand, if memory serves. So
I think it was a co-production.
Right. But yeah, so that's where our composer's coming from. I get what you're saying, Jill. Like it does have every time I heard it, I was like, oh, this is John Carpenter. And so there's a part of me that was reminded of John Carpenter style movies, the horror. And it's like, okay, we're putting this in a box, and the box is horror. And it's genre horror. So
and also
don't get too caught up in the period of it all.
Yeah. Everything's a box.
Exactly. Yeah.
The plane is a box. The gun turret's a box. The box is a box. The box that she has, she brings on board. She brings a box onto the box, and then gets in a smaller box. And then the music is a box.
Let me tell you one thing that I did appreciate about the film.
Yeah.
It's about the boxes.
There's a lot of boxes.
It's about the box that she was in.
Did you ever see any runes on the side of the box? No, wait.
Really interesting. I really love low budget film concepts and clever ways to make low budget films. It was pretty obvious to me kind of, within 10 minutes of this, that this was a first time director working on a low budget genre concept, because as a first time director, you only ever get a low budget for your first genre concept. I really like clever ways of finding ways to restrict your locations and actors to decrease your budget. And this film had one of those clever devices. And I thought, that's pretty cool. For the majority of the film, most of the cast is only heard and not seen. And you're spending the majority of the film watching the reactions of one character. And that's a pretty cool, pretty fun concept and a pretty fun way to decrease your budget so that you can direct your first genre film.
Yeah,
And also
and
pretty
you
You know what
only
that
have to have.
reminded me?
Sorry, you go, Jill.
No. Oh, I was just gonna say, you know what it reminded me of? Theater. Like
Yeah.
watching like low production theater on stage, or a radio play. And I feel like that was maybe something that was kind of influenced. Definitely with the lighting techniques and the visuals that they used during just the audio, and only seeing Maud for some scenes, but getting visuals of the men as she's putting faces to the voices. And yeah,
That was
I don't
very
know, just
theatery.
really-
The lighting was very theatery.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
Like-
just enjoyed that technique.
you could almost do this as a theatre piece if you wanted to fuck around with building an entire
Yeah.
fucking plane on stage. So you're probably not going to. Let's be honest. But it does. It's a concept piece, and I like that because it's very much in a bubble, and the only times that you leave that bubble is when something is even more dangerous than being in the bubble, and I think that's very smart, but there is a danger of going, I see what you're doing, and if I'm
Saw what she was doing.
yeah, and if you are called attention to it, you go, I see what you're doing there. All right, very clever.
I
But-
don't know if I saw what she was doing because I'm interested in those devices, or because it was immediately obvious that this was a first-time director.
Mm.
It's hard for me to judge, because I notice those devices because I have studied those devices. So I'm not sure if
Right.
I'm not sure if that would have been noticeable enough to kind of kick you out of the story into analytical mode, which it obviously does with me, which might, again, affect my enjoyment of trying to get into something that is this heavily weird.
See, I quite enjoyed that, like, the first half of the movie is just her in the gun turret talking to people and trying to assert herself. Like, I feel like maybe there's some sort of, I mean, like, it's pretty obvious that the way they use that storytelling device is that, it's a metaphor for her breaking out of that box that people are putting her in. Haha, boxes again. But yeah, it does kind of like, you've got somebody who is being outcast from everybody else, and then it does take that point where she says, okay, enough's enough, and breaks out. And I think that's also a metaphor for like what the storytelling was doing as well.
Yeah.
And also she's
Oh.
protecting her box.
Sorry?
Dion.
No, not that way. I said,
Dude!
but it's like a Pulp Fiction box, opens it up at the
Yes.
start and it's full of like ethereal glow. And then by the end of it, the spoiler, which I'll discuss later. But,
Yeah.
Yes.
but it's
Yeah.
kind of, it is that kind of, it is weird. I kind of agree with you, Jill, in that sense that, yeah, it is like that. She starts off, put in a box, and then she bursts out of the box because she never really needed to be in the box in the first place. But then her whole thing is protecting another box and keeping it in a box. And I'm like, I agree with the metaphor, but I'm like, but why? Like, you got out of your box to protect another box. Like, anyway.
Yeah.
Well, okay. What was fun about it? Did anyone have some good fun parts about it?
Jill, your enthusiasm for this is making me excited.
I want to say that like the action sequences, there's one that we saw in that trailer that is entirely ridiculous. And of course, you just have to take a lot of this with a pinch of salt, because no, it is not historical. There's probably not a lot of physics that are accurate either, but it's just fun, and you have to throw away your disbelief a little bit because we're dealing with like Gremlins. But I am so in love with the creature design, because it just has like chiropteran mammal written all over it, and anyone knows I love bats and I love Batman. And so this bat creature, and everyone's like, oh, it looks like a rat. Oh, it's got a tail. I'm like, it's a bat.
It's the big
And then
no
spoiler
fucking around
alert,
bat.
when she kicks it off the ship and then it shoots out wings from its arms, I'm like, I knew it was a bat.
Yeah.
But if anybody has seen a little anime film called Blood the Last Vampire,
Oh yeah.
you'll probably be on board with me thinking this has the same kind of elements as that film. It's got the weird bat mammals, it's got the war and the Air Force and just all that stuff. You gave me really huge like production IG vibes from that. And I think that's like, I would put it in that universe. This is why I really love that movie, because I'm like, I would put this in that war fantasy universe with Blood the Last Vampire.
Okay, that's cool.
I mean,
Yeah, I remember Blood, and that's many years ago.
there was a lot of interesting ideas, I think, presented all throughout the film up until it lost its brain. Well, whatever brain that it kind of had, like, you can't lose a brain if you don't have one, in a bit of a scarecrow fashion.
Now Dion's
I'm-
letting his disdain
on.
show.
I'm trying to be nice here in the sense that I actually really liked the concept of it, and that the way that they presented it was really cool. And I was there's a small tiny part of me that was just hoping, please make this a fucking Gremlins prequel. Please make this a Gremlins prequel. Like just a side. Just slid it in there, like as in, and then the plane landed in America and Gizmo got away.
So what? They open up the box and
It's
she's
Gizmo.
actually trying to transport Gizmo.
Yeah, that was my secret
Yeah,
hope.
the whole Gremlins thing kind
head
of threw
cannon.
me as well, and I thought, oh yeah, she's got a gremlin in the box.
I think the whole kind of idea about literally someone on a plane trapped in like a small area which limits your, it helps by limiting the space that you can move around in. It creates more opportunity, really. They did really well in setting that up and providing her with a whole bunch of interesting character things, like who is she, why is she on this plane, she's a woman, she shouldn't be there, it's World War II, everyone's terrible to her. And then there's like body horror shit with herself getting
The finger?
the finger and the winged already, and like she's already kind of injured, and then she's kind of tough, and then there's literally the tension building stuff of introducing the gremlin. That is fine. I didn't need the rest. I just needed them to try to either land the plane and get away from her convincing them that there is actually a gremlin, and that's the whole point. I wanted Shatner to make
I thank you for
Something of a
mentioning
win.
Shatner.
It's just like, come on, that's enough. That is a Twilight Zone episode, and that's all you needed. And then there was this entire superfluous other bullshit thing that I was just like, for fuck's sake.
Which you really can't talk about
Look,
until we get the
honestly-
spoilers,
Yeah,
right?
and one
And I
moment.
think I'm
of-
very much on the same page with Dion.
That's
If you left
why-
the creature stuff out, I can see why it would probably be a just as poignant movie and make the same points if it didn't have the creature. But they were going for this weird horror sci-fi
thing?
thing. So
So we're
it
going
was
for
there.
it's
And
interesting.
just-
No, we liked the horror sci-fi side.
Yeah. It's interesting you said anime earlier, Jill, because there was a very anime part with that creature when its tail did something that I was not
Yeah.
expecting, and I was like,
Yeah, no, I had a brief moment too of going, oh no,
I was like,
are we
that
in
is-
that kind of
Yeah,
anime?
it's a little bit
Yeah.
tentacle-ish looking tail.
Yeah. and I was-
Hentai. Yeah.
But then they backed
And-
away. Like I feel like they backed away a lot when it came to some crucial moments, and that kind of irritated me. I'm like, you give me this as a hard R and remove the box. Remove one of the boxes and make this a hard R, and I would have had a much better time.
So it's interesting because like when we were trying to think about, I was thinking before how to describe the film. It is basically it's aliens crossed with that episode of Twilight Zone with another episode of Amazing Stories.
Yeah.
Oh.
And there's an episode of Amazing Stories where somebody gets trapped in the same bubble underneath a bomber. But in that one, the landing struts are broken and so they can't land without wiping off the underside of the thing and killing the person
Right.
in there. And I was like, oh man, okay, so there's these three kind of things, and then you add in the Gremlin stuff, and that's the Twilight Zone kind of stuff. And I feel like there are a lot of ideas that are competing, and then and I'm kind of with Dion and Peter that I think the sci-fi actiony kind of stuff, I was like, cool, do that, have a great time with that, let's lean in on that. But then there was this other thing that we'll come to that was whether that's, but also when you get to the end of the film, you kind of go, okay, that is a motivation, and it's a serious motivation that you kind of go, okay, I get that.
One of two that we give to women in films.
And there, yeah. and I will admit, okay, let's just take a brief moment to talk about the world today at the moment. We're in a time where the voices of women are being raised in fury and righteous fucking fury, for all of the worst possible reasons for the victimization that has been happening forever and a day. And I gotta say, the first 20 minutes to half an hour of this film, I found fucking tough going. Like, to listen to a bunch of men be complete fuckwits and total cocks, I found really, really hard, because I was just like, fuck, I hope there's some comeuppance. Like, I hope there is so much uppance coming that there will just be uppance everywhere. Like, from...
Yeah,
because
the benefit to that was actually looking forward to all of them dying. I was actually
I
like...
hope that it makes a lot of people uncomfortable like it did for you. Because really that's the only way we can get through to people that talk that way and support those words or stay silent against those words.
Yeah.
And I think putting it in such a harsh light like that is helpful, but at the end of the day, it wasn't really shocking for me, because, we're used to kind of hearing that bullshit.
Yeah.
And then also having a generation of people that grew up in that time saying, oh, well, that's just the way that men talk and we should just
boys
get
will be
over it.
boys.
Well, I'm here to say, and I'm sure Peter is also here to say, that we don't want to hear it. And I hope that a lot of people realize that nobody wants to fucking hear it.
And I guess one of the things I wanted was the comeuppance to be on screen. Like, there are so many times that you hear them and you're just like, well, I hope they die painfully.
Well, I mean, yeah, we all want a little bit of revenge for having to feel that way, but at the same time, we just want to be treated equals. So, we're all about taking the high road. I don't need to see a man be in pain for, talking a rude way to a woman. I just want them to be uncomfortable, and I want them to be disappointed in themselves, and I want them to, try and empathize with another human being. For me, it's not about, seeing these guys in pain. It's about seeing change.
Yeah. Though and I'm not entirely sure what this goes into spoiler territory, but the moment that there is any change in their attitude and their learning is only when something is revealed about another man.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck.
Yeah, it's not a perfect film, definitely. And you'd think that, having a female director, you'd get a little bit of a better perspective on, women's agency and their ability to, function in society alongside men, without having to have a superficial reason for it.
I have to admit, I found the treatment a little heavy-handed, in terms of, yes, okay, we get it. This is a film about you should respect women, but it's a film about how you should respect women. and it makes it, you know, it does make it a bit of a tougher pill to swallow when you can, you know, it feels like the entire film is about that pill, and even more about that pill than you know, story. I don't know. I wasn't very surprised in that first bit either, Jill. That didn't really. I was like, yeah. I mean, I found it a little bit heavy-handed. Like, all right, well, we get it. Like, this happens.
Yeah, I
you don't
know.
have to
I'm
keep
like,
harping on about it. Move on to the next bit of the
didn't
film,
actually
please.
talk about it that much. Yeah. Yeah.
I also found, I guess, one of the other things that irritated me about the film is that there was a lot about it that was fun, and I could tell that it was, you know, a low budget, you know, first attempt at, you know, this kind of long form storytelling. But I did feel like it took itself way too seriously for something that was as ridiculous as it was. I mean, there's a lovely montage at the end of, you know, archival footage of women in the armed forces in the war and all of that kind of thing, and it just kind of made me think, like, what, like, it's a fucking weird, ridiculous alien film. It's not like
you wanted to make a movie about like the WAF in the 40s. Make a film about that.
This
Why
was
do you
not
have
that
to
film.
Weird,
So that kind of,
weird
you know,
homage with like absolutely no reference. Like,
it was like, what does this have to do with anything? This is
Which
so
is
yeah,
like,
that left a
how I
bad
was saying
taste in my
earlier.
mouth.
Yeah, like I said earlier, if they didn't have the monster in this movie, it could be just as poignant if the storytelling was, you know, focused on something else rather than a monster. And maybe it could have been, you know, maybe a little better presented.
Yeah. Look, I would love to start. There's a lot of stuff that I want to say that like is related to a giant spoiler, and a lot of the action sequences as well. But the kind of action sequences they are is like, you don't want to spoil the cool moments in the action sequences where stuff happens or stuff doesn't happen, because, you know, there was some fun suspense set up. So I can't. Can we do a rating and then go full spoiler?
And we'll go to a clip full of all of that good stuff we were just talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, you go ahead, Peter. Tell us, what was your end, please? Actually, this is a very important moment. I want to acknowledge this. Peter has devised a rating system to help her guide herself through.
Yes, this is
and you
very
need to
good.
explain it, because this affects how Peter's ratings come through. The rest of us just pick a number out of a hat, but Peter has a system.
Well, I feel like I've been picking lots of numbers out of lots of hats, and sometimes I feel bad because I think about it later. I'm like, maybe it wasn't that good, or maybe it wasn't that bad. So we read out of 100, right?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Why not?
So the concept was originally that we start at 100% awesome, and then you take points off for things that aren't awesome.
Yes.
At least that's how Dion's been rating.
Yeah. Works, but I never know how many points to take off, because, you know, on one hand, I'm always kind of like, but it's hard to make a film. And so there's a lot of points that go in for effort, even when I don't really like something. But that's not really helpful for people who are like, I want to know if I should watch this film. What do you guys think? And I'm like, I don't know. There was a lot of effort.
They tried hard.
Same can be said about Transformers. It employed a lot of people.
So I've decided that 50 for me is utter ambivalence. Like,
okay,
I didn't really like it. I didn't really hate it. Next week, I probably won't remember it. Like, 0 is I could not hate it more. I found it deeply offensive. I will always regret the time that I lost to watching.
That's a 0
this
from
abortion
Peter.
of a film.
I'm gonna write that one down.
0.
And one of your examples was what? Enter the Void?
Yes, I watched that at Sundance one year because I love to just, you know, slip into conversation that I got to go to Sundance one year, and I hated it with a fiery passion, and I had to
quickly,
really
Pete.
bad, and I just wanted to leave.
Side note, so I can just get a bit of frame of reference. What did you rate Upstream Color?
I did not see Upstream Color.
Correct answer.
So the same director who did Enter the Void, Gaspar Noé, Also did Irreversible, which is one of the films that I consider to be utterly fucking abhorrent. So
I have not watched any of his films since I saw that one.
good move.
Because it is the worst film that I have ever watched, and I found it deeply offensive, both creatively and otherwise. 100 is obviously Ted Lasso. So anything between 50 and 100, I liked it more than I disliked it, right? And anything under 50, I disliked it more than I liked it. Which brings me to Shadow in the Cloud, which I'm going to give a reluctant 40 because I disliked it. I disliked it more than I liked it. And it feels like a low number. And I'm very sorry to the people who put a lot of time and effort into making this film. I mean no offense. But this was a film that required a lot of suspension of disbelief and it did not take me there. It got utterly ridiculous. It took itself way too seriously. And frankly, one of the major plot points super pissed me off. So 40.
40. Thank you. Dion, you're next because I'm writing down the scores.
Excellent. I'm going to give it a 32.63, and I'll tell you why.
Good.
No. No.
Not a 33 and a third?
A 33 and a third. No. For all the sorts of reasons, like, I mean, I want to give it, like, okay, so I go the other way, which is like 50 is, again, sort of ambivalence. I'm going to go, really give a shit. It's sort of 50, and then what's good. And these things, some of the ideas in it are really good and interesting, and the creature design is actually pretty cool. And then the rest of it drags it back again. So it's kind of this thing like, oh, fuck, it's just better than ambivalence and then not better than ambivalence, but it's nowhere near hate. And it's just kind of like, would I recommend it to other people is where I get down to. And I'm kind of like, maybe? I don't think it's strong enough. Like, I don't give a shit about any of the characters. I barely remember any of the other people's names. It's Grace Moretz's weird thing. You don't even get to see, the people that they're fighting against. It's all kind of just these people and voices. So it's kind of not enough to carry the thing through me. Although I want to see someone fighting against that weird creature and everyone else fighting against a weird creature. It's weird.
I would have liked to have seen. Anyway, 60. I was about to say something and then I was like, hang on, spoilers now.
I'm going to get it 60 because it's not terrible, but like, I mean, if it had have gone the way I had hoped it go, I probably would have been like 120. It was fucking amazing. But like, I went so far back down. I was like, I'm kind of ambivalent, but it's okay. Like, there's something. I'm going to sit at 60.
60. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
Sorry.
I was waiting for just a numerical answer, but you gave me a very lovely piece of writing.
Did I? That was writing?
Yes. Well, I was trying to keep up with it. Like,
He was dictating the whole thing.
I was Dick something. Okay. Jill.
I'm going to give it 70 because I did quite enjoy all the nut bar antics and film techniques and metaphors and all sorts of things that they use. I mean, there's some stuff that we are definitely all going to get to in the spoilers that kind of like threw me for a 6. I'm like, okay. But otherwise, like, I love the creature design. I liked the weird fantasy sci-fi aspect of it, set in World War II, pulp novel kind of Twilight Zone-ish bullshit that was going on. I don't know that it was taking itself that seriously, but I thought it was kind of fun and stupid, and 70.
Okay. I would agree with you that I don't think it was taking itself that seriously, but it also didn't have a laugh at any point in time in itself. Like there was, like
It would have saved it for me.
I think it could have. Yeah, absolutely.
If there was a bit of a wink of like, yes, we know this is ridiculous. Stay with us.
There's a payoff, I swear.
I'm somewhere in between, like all of these things. I actually watched it and came away from it with a wow. Okay, cool. There were elements of it that I thought were really exciting. There are elements of it that were fucking stupid. Like there are literal moments where I'm like, oh, that's just silly. Like the explosion and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, that is really, really silly.
From the trailer. I saw that in the trailer.
Yeah, even in the trailer, I thought, fuck, I hope they explain that. Nope.
I know, I saw that.
Nope.
Yeah.
I fell out of a plane and got blown back in. That's totally normal.
Yeah, I killed a man with a trident.
You did.
Yes. But I don't think it's terrible, and I think it has some very clever things to say, and I actually quite enjoyed Grace Moretz. I thought she was really fun, and I like the way that she was sort of mercurial and you didn't quite know where she was going with stuff. But I also thought that, there was this whole other cast that are there as voices, but then I was like, give me more to play with. So you know what, 65 there. It's somewhere in between a Dion and a Jill, and more than Peter, but yeah. Anyway, I've noticed we've had a bit of feedback that this stream is chugging quite badly. So I don't know whether there's anything that we can do about that, but Dion,
Yeah,
do we have a clip?
Get better internet is literally
not
what
me.
we can do. It's everyone's internet. It's all your problem. I know, it's raining. Raining's made it not work right.
Okay.
Whatever.
Honestly, it's Australia. I'm sure the rain affects the internet.
Yeah, it probably does.
Yeah, I'm sorry that this.
Quite believable.
I'm sorry that the internet issue has affected this podcast. We will try and get that arranged. Anyway, have a clip. This is gonna be a great clip. It's gonna be so much fun. Everyone's gonna love it.
Captain, we have a Jake, 5 o'clock, 400 feet below us in the clouds. Captain, do you copy? There's a Japanese IAT.
Oh, sorry about that. That was just funny. Jill said something about a prolapsed anus, and I lost my shit and forgot to transition back neatly. So, thank you, everyone. Oh, fuck, that was funny.
FYI, it's not mine.
At some point, there, for everyone watching the stream, thanks. It went straight from clip to outro. I was like, we're done. It's like, fuck, bye. No, I don't know what. Whatever. I was laughing too hard. Fuck it. It's spoiler section. Where's the spoiler thing? There we go.
Yay,
Spoil
spoilers.
away.
I was sticking with it. I really was. I was enjoying the one actor device. I was, it was a bit heavy-handed, but I was like, okay, feminist statement, cool. And then fucking baby, fuck off. Like,
Oh, we have finally hit the part of Peter that's just like,
Yeah.
nah.
I love that shit.
sorry, you can't set up a female character in a film that is very clearly, specifically trying to have feminist overtones, and then make her motivation be a baby.
Yeah.
Sorry, no.
And the point where everyone starts taking her seriously is when her man steps up and goes, "No, be nice to my lady." And I was like,
Because that's
Really?
my baby. You gotta save my baby. Because I'm the baby daddy.
yeah.
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 Okay.
Also,
Can I ask
also,
one-
can we just all agree that the baby would not have survived?
Oh, no.
In that box,
I
with
mean-
all of that jumping.
I mean, she has to be the world's best rock climber to hang suspended upside down out of a plane and just fucking traverse
Whilst
like
flying at 700 miles a minute or whatever the fuck those things go at.
that. Yeah. No.
Can
Although,
I
can I?
say,
Oh
this
wait.
movie would have got 100 if the baby was a bat baby.
Oh,
It
If she
would've.
was smuggling
See?
a scientific experiment of a bat baby,
Yeah, it was
Actually,
such
yes.
a
that would
letdown
have made
that's
so
what
much
it
more
was.
sense, right?
Because you're like, oh my god, she's
So much more
carrying
sense.
something that's gonna like end this war
Oh.
against the gremlins.
Humans.
But no, it's just a fucking baby.
Humans
That
are the
would've been so
monsters all
fucking
along.
badass.
Like,
Right.
Fuck's sake. Yeah. All right. Okay. Can I just wait one
like,
more?
and then there could have been like scenes with a swarm of gremlin bats attacking the fucking plane,
Yeah.
and them
Yeah.
going, "This is the queen bat, and we have to get it
This is
across
the thing that's
to
gonna
New
defeat the
Zealand to put it back in
Japanese
its
and
fucking
Germans,
cave."
Like, yes.
See, you've already written a
It's gonna
better
end the
ending.
war.
But you know what we did get?
Yeah.
We got her breastfeeding a baby for about a minute and then kicking the shit out of a gremlin.
Oh no, other way around.
No, she
Because-
kicked it out of the gremlin and
Other
then
way
she
around.
breastfed.
No, but
And I will say that
No, no,
that was a striking last image for a film.
Didn't she breastfeed
No.
the baby for like
No.
a minute and then go
No.
and kill the gremlin?
No, she does it after
Oh,
she's
fuck.
killed the
Other way
gremlin.
around. No, because
Oh, I was like, but
yeah,
I still
the
was
guy
confronted by the
proposing
fact,
to her
well,
and then the gremlin grabbed him.
why are we
Hmm.
breastfeeding
No.
a baby in this film of
And
all
also
films?
kind of like there's a few hygiene issues here. She's covered in blood. Like,
Yeah, I'm like, couldn't you go the other boob that didn't have the cut on it? Like, I don't know, it was weird.
I
why
like
that pissed
Casper.
me off so much?
Ugh.
I like that last fight because I did enjoy her just absolutely fucking wailing on that thing.
Yeah.
And
Oh
then
yes, and that stop hitting yourself moment. She breaks its arm and hits it with its own arm. That was bloody great.
I kept hating it though because it's like, oh, I'm a lion mama protecting my cub. Urgh. I hated it.
Yeah.
I hated it
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah, I get it. I get
You
it.
know, like I hate as a childless woman that like there are only two motivations ever in films for women, and they used one of them.
Yeah.
I hated that whole you don't know how far I'll go for my baby, and then suddenly it's superhuman. Like
Yeah.
what the fuck?
To be
Like,
fair, that
I
was the
hate it.
entire plot of The Mandalorian.
Touche, Dion. I did enjoy the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
How
So-
often do you see men going that far for a baby? Usually they dump it at home with the woman.
No. There's no such thing as babies in men's world. That's women's business.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I know.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I got
I
that out of my system now, guys.
No, it's
no,
absolutely-
fucking let loose. We had some tiger mama there. It was
Yeah.
great.
But I
Honestly, when they revealed that it was a baby, I was like, wait, what?
yeah,
Yes.
it was like what?
I was super
Like,
fucking
really?
super disappointed.
I've been tasked to bring this
Yeah.
baby across the sea because my husband's gonna be upset that I had a baby out of wedlock and it's World War II.
Even halfway through that scene where she's telling her sob story, I was kind of like, no. She's like a top secret spy, and she's
Yep.
like just telling this sob
Yeah.
story to get them on side
Yeah.
because she knows that like that will get them on side so that she can like finish transporting the thing that is going to end the war with the gremlins.
Mm.
But no, it was just a silly like classic sob story. I just.
Also,
I
the
don't
fact
know.
that the gremlin is there and it's like the one or however many there were, I can't remember. There was only one, wasn't there?
Yeah, just
Yeah, I'm
one.
like, why does the gremlin want the baby so bad?
Also,
Yeah.
Unless it was a gremlin baby.
also, what
But-
the
but
fuck?
also,
Gremlins
like, the fact-
concerned?
It would have been so much cooler and so much more kind of tightly compacted as a story if the reason that she's so secretive, the reason that she's so badass is because she is a gremlin hunter. Like, that is her fucking thing, is all the
Yeah.
way through this war.
Yeah.
She has been fighting a secret war against these fucking gremlins who have been taking down planes. And, this box is the thing. Much cooler. Turn her into a fucking badass super fucking super spy who can fly and fight and kick ass and is also smart enough to, outsmart every fucking dipshit dude on that plane. But also, we also got some very, very off-color fucking racism in there too. Yeah. That I was just like,
yeah,
wow. Okay, I know that we're setting
very problematic.
We're trying to set this in a time period and stuff, but fucking wow, unnecessary.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, for the need to have a Maori actor in there, I'm guessing as a part of shooting it in New Zealand, this was a part of the casting where they were like, yes, we would like to. I mean, I got to say, it felt weirdly
unnecessary. They were also
unnecessary.
taking off from the New Zealand air base. No,
Yeah.
Quinny, they were taking off from the New Zealand air base and going to Samoa.
Right.
It was
Okay.
the war in
But
the
also,
Pacific.
It was highly likely that a New Zealand armed force man was, with these guys.
Though once again, tie that into a bigger narrative. Like the whole fact that he is the pilot and there are people making fun of him because he's, of race and everything. Tie that back in. Make him a part of the war against the Gremlins. Make it, he's a fucking badass fighter pilot.
You're really
dude.
fixated on this Gremlin war thing.
Fucking oath
It's
I
like,
am, because it'll
oh
make
my
a better
God.
film.
And I'm
Well,
like, I don't
honestly,
care.
if you took the Gremlins out, it'd be pretty basic. But
Yeah.
why not go exciting and do a whole thing about these Gremlins?
And then
Why start your film with a propaganda animation about Gremlins if the movie's not primarily about these Gremlins?
Yes, it was. It's the
Yeah.
Gremlins are just destroying the ship
And then
because
don't
apparently
end your movie with old footage of, women's Air Force service women and pretend that it's an
Hang on.
homage to them.
Sorry, I'd like to go back because Peter, you hit an entirely new level of sound that the audio couldn't pick up.
But 3 dogs are barking now.
What did you say?
That montage at the end had nothing to do with anything, and it was made extra terrible by the fact that it was followed by that super earnest and serious montage of all of the actors in their roles. I just kept saying, does this movie know that it's ridiculous? No, it does not know that it's ridiculous.
But
This
why
movie
doesn't it
thinks
know
that
it's
it's not ridiculous?
Yeah.
What?
This is a movie about a science fiction gremlin attacking a plane.
No, but
Yeah.
it clearly
I mean,
doesn't
it's
think
not
it's
like these
ridiculous.
actors were. It's not like the actors were portraying real life people. I don't know why you would do that weird montage of the actors' credits with their faces unless they were portraying real people. And it happens with the side by side of that person. But then to also include the weird found footage montage at the end as if this was a love story to the women in the Air Force from the
Yes,
40s.
this is what the women of the WAAF really wanted to be remembered by.
Yeah. Remember that?
For being baby makers.
Remember that
What?
time that Betty fought a gremlin on that plane once?
Yeah, she kicked the dick off it.
She goes, it's amazing. I love that. It's like,
Yes, being talked about as if they're walking genitals. Love it.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah. And oh man, I know it's meant to make you uncomfortable. I know that it's meant to portray the dudes on that plane as being a complete bunch of fuckwits, but it was also very heavy-handed.
yeah.
Yeah.
And also it's kind of I look at it and go, yeah, you big swinging dick cargo droppers, you're literally fucking cargo pilots. You are not bombers. You are not dropping bombs. You're literally just taking stuff from point A to point B, just in case.
But also, if they didn't think the Japanese could fly that far south, why did they have armed turrets on the plane?
all of the turrets, everything, everywhere, forever. Hey, who knows? I'm not a World War
Why
II.
was it an armed plane if it was just doing a cargo drop in the Pacific where they thought the Japanese couldn't fly to? Okay, now I'm pulling this apart and it's going to make me want to change my rating. Stop it.
No, enjoy it. Have fun
I
with it.
enjoyed the other batshit stuff.
I just managed to put my finger in my head on why I hated that breastfeeding moment so much as well. Because, I think it's super important that women should be able to breastfeed wherever they want, and it's just a completely normal thing.
Breasts
and
are a tool, not a sex functioning.
Totally. What shits me though is when it's fetishized, and particularly when it's fetishized by mothers who are all like, I'm super superior to you because like I'm a moon mother who can like feed my child. And that tableau, the way it was set up, like her breastfeeding and the tableau with the men around her, it felt really fetishized. That's why it should be. So I just had to say that because I was like, I don't know why it should be because I'm all for just breastfeeding. That's fine. But it wasn't like, I'm just going to breastfeed because it's what I do. It's like, let's set up a fetishized tableau of breastfeeding covered in gremlin blood.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all for portraying it when it's necessary, but also, I don't know, you've gone that whole movie with a baby sedated in a box. Like, why do you choose now to do it?
Oh yeah, I forgot that she gave it some drugs.
No, like
I slipped my baby some sleeping pills. It'll be fine. What?
Yeah.
I mean, I probably would have been happier if they'd killed the boyfriend too. You know, like because as it was, like, I think it's interesting that you're like, you know, the two or the one motivation is, you know, child. There has to be a baby to motivate you to do things, or relationship. And in this case, it was relationship to get away from abusive relationship. Yeah. And I was like, okay.
I also want to expand on this stuff that's going on in the thread. They're talking about Nightcrawler and baby bats and stuff. I'm going to go you one better than the war of the gremlins, Quinny. I'm going to go that the baby daddy turns into a gremlin to fight the gremlin that's on the plane. And it turns out that the baby in the box is actually a half gremlin. And that's why the mother...
Well, that's what Blood the Last Vampire was about. They transform into humans as well.
Bang.
Yes, it was badass.
Prequel with two notes there. You can either be Blood the Last Vampire prequel or a Gremlins prequel. I'm still hoping, please, let's make this a Gremlins prequel.
I'd like to know what her answer would have been to that jerk's proposal if the bat bitch didn't come and, you know, knock him over. Would she have said, oh, yes, I will marry you? Or what?
I kind of hope that she would have said something like, motherfucker, I have just landed a plane to rescue my baby after rock climbing underneath a plane hanging outside with a broken finger and a fucked arm.
Yeah, it's like, fuck you, I'm busy.
Now, exactly. Now you want to get married? Now is the time, right? Well, we're covered in wreckage and blood. It's like, what a memory for the children.
Yeah. By the way, the baby's screaming.
What a romantic moment for you to think about this. Yeah.
And
such a perfect romantic moment.
And are we lost in the Pacific? Who fucking knows?
See, now if it landed and then, you know, they've killed that last gremlin, and then you hear this chittering and you realize they've landed on the island of the gremlins.
See, again, you've done it again, Quinny. Come on, fuck's sake.
That's part 2, the second one. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. Shadow.
Anyway, if you want to watch a better movie about bat creatures, watch Blood the Last Vampire. Not the 2009 live action, the 2000 animated series.
And if you want to watch a better movie that is a one actor, one location, low budget masterpiece, watch Lock with Tom Hardy.
Oh, okay.
Ooh,
It's a brilliant film, highly recommend.
Okay, I haven't seen that one.
Speaking of, sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say there are a few great examples of single location, very very tight budget films. And you know, I think it's not Bound. What's the one?
Cube.
Cube is amazing. The first Cube is fucking incredible.
Cube. That's why I said just Cube.
Yes.
Not Cube or Cube 3.
Yeah. But there's also the one where the person is buried, and I think it's just called Buried.
Yeah, and that is not a person.
That is super fucking tense.
That is Ryan Reynolds.
Is that the Ryan Reynolds one? Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. Also, a really good one in terms of a small limited set is Phone Booth. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, come on, Peter. Come on.
Yes. Yes, we are talking about cubes and we are talking about box. We're back at box and
get back in your box, Quinny. Back in your box. Sure. Or like Primate. Hey, that's a better box too.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. It's all boxes,
box-
people. It's all boxes.
that travel through time, not through the sky.
Oh goodness gracious. I was
Yeah.
going to say, speaking of shows that are cool and good, or movies that are cool and good, what should we look at next week?
Oh, well, now that's the thing, isn't it?
Well, maybe we could ask the chat what they want to do next week.
They're just going to say fucking Avatar. It's always...
Yeah, never ask the chat. They'll just keep asking for Avatar. We're not going to give it to them because fuck them. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Chorus straight away. Avatar done. Yes, and bad lag is bad. Sorry, it is Struggle City on the old stream.
But the podcast will sound.
I think we might chat a little bit about Falcon and Winter Soldier. We'll only
You
have one
think?
episode, so we won't give it too much time.
Okay.
We'll have to come up with something else.
I guess we can talk about that if we
Yeah.
have to. The whole one
I mean,
episode.
I was pushing
And
real
then I
hard.
can do a TED talk afterwards about why The Winter Soldier is the greatest Marvel movie in the MCU.
Okay. Personally, I was gunning for the Snyder cut.
Fuck you.
But
Oh,
Fuck you.
yeah. Who's
The
watching
horse
that
you
on the
rode in on.
weekend?
Who's doing 4 hours of Snyder? Anyone?
um,
Anyone?
I'm actually intrigued to see. So, Peter, you still haven't seen the original version of Justice League, have you?
Nope, and I do not plan to.
Excellent. That's sorted. We're
Can I
doing
hang out
Justice
for 4
League.
hours
The
on the weekend
Snyder
and
Cut.
watch it?
Block out 4 hours while you're moving, Pete.
Yeah, you can do it. It'll be fun.
Yep. Instead of just a 50-minute quick one on Friday evening, it's a 4-hour movie we want you to review for next week.
I politely decline.
Okay. And I do want to have a bit of a shout out to the people who have been joining in on the Friday night chat sessions. That's been a lot of fun. I have tried to upload last week's to YouTube, but the amount of videos that we were playing from YouTube just pinged it so fucking hard.
Wait, so they're just giving copyright against themselves?
Yes, exactly. But to those people who have been joining in, it's been a lot of fun, and we'll continue to try and do things like that as often as we can. And I mean, this week it'll be just post Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So
Ooh,
I'll
could
be there.
could be
I'll
You gonna join in?
one.
I'm
I'm going to have lots of opinions.
Nice.
I won't, so I can save myself for the purity that is the Tuesday review.
Whereas I'm like, yes, let's have a chat about all sorts of. Honestly, it was a 2 and a bit hour ramble through 90s cartoons, weird TV shows, movies.
I want to call it that now. It's Come a Rambling with Quinny on Friday evening. Just come a rambling. Like,
But also it won't necessarily always be me because I mean there are weeks where I'm not going to be available. Like the week after, I've got to go and do a thing. So other people may be able to lead the thing.
Quinny, you're on the bench. Jill, you're up.
I'm going to do a thing.
Yeah, you can use
I'll do my
StreamYard. and-
talk.
Yes, you can do your talk
Yeah.
about why Winter Soldier is the greatest thing of all time, and talk about episode 2. Come a
Yes.
rambling with Quinny, but also come a rambling with
And
Jill.
Jill, the following Friday.
We don't need to put a name on it. Just call Come a Rambling.
I do. I like it. And Peter, we hope that you can join us sometime soon, but also good luck with all of your huge things that are happening in your life.
Yeah, good luck in New
Yes.
Zealand where you're moving to work on.
Shadow on the Cloud too.
I will be tuning in next week from a different location.
Ooh.
Oh,
Wow, you already got the
You won't be
internet
able to
connected?
see that
Well
because
done.
background.
If
Yeah.
you have your internet set up.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I love the way that that's the laugh of somebody who's like, I don't know.
Predicanga
Let's
wants
see
to
how we
know
go.
if we're renaming Tuesdays to Box Talk.
Box talk.
Come a rambling on Fridays.
We're
to-
all in boxes.
and then it's
I'm
Box
in
Talk
fast
Tuesday.
pace of emotion.
What do I enjoy
Oh, and a
it.
big thank you to Casper, as always. Quite often, little things appear in our Ko-fi jar, and we really
Yay!
appreciate that. Everyone who is kind enough to give us stuff.
Thank you.
So thank you very much.
Creepy.
Was that
Sure.
weird? I don't know.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay, cool. Okay, well, we're going to do some rating now. I mean, they're not even going to notice it because it's a very large number of people who are currently doing this. But you know what? Here's a person that we have enjoyed in the past. We will go and raid Bar Joe. You know, that'll be fun. But for now,
thanks everyone in the chat. Bye.
Shall we say good night?
Good night.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
A
What's in
bat,
the
baby.
box?
Bye.